Good morning, everyone. It's Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the threat for severe storms, and we'll even be going over the Pineapple Express, which is this big storm system that is going to be coming into California, and it won't just be impacting those areas. It will also be impacting places like Texas into the deep south and even more areas across the eastern United States. So this will definitely be something to keep an eye on, but we're first going to start off with severe weather, and as you guys see, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather for day 2, which will be for Friday and the Saturday, so it will pretty much just be for tomorrow. And then for your tornado threat, as you can see, we do have a decent tornado threat across Texas. Not very widespread, so it doesn't include the entire marginal risk, but it will still be a concern for places like San Antonio heading into Houston. Well, maybe Houston. We can't rule out an extend into Houston, but mainly San Antonio and Corpus Christi will be the two areas to watch closely for a couple of brief tornadoes, while the hail threat does include the entire marginal risk, so hail will definitely be a big concern as we head into tomorrow. And then for your wind threat, doesn't include the entire marginal risk either, but it definitely does include still quite a bit of it, so damaging winds will definitely be a concern for a few more areas. So main concern will be hail, okay? Main concern will be hail, along with some gusty winds and a few brief tornadoes, especially down here towards San Antonio and Corpus Christi, which are the two cities that have all hazards in place, especially San Antonio. Now, if we look at day 3, guys, as you can see, we do have another threat for severe weather. This one now heads into Houston now, so we definitely have another area that we do need to watch as we do head into Saturday and Sunday. And not only is this marginal risk smaller, but we actually I think we will see a tornado threat, a hail threat, and a wind threat develop with this storm. I know they don't have the hazards out yet, which I wish they did, but they do not. And as you can see, we definitely do expect tornadoes along with a few damaging winds and some large hail to occur with this storm as we do head into Saturday. Now, if we look at the alerts, I wanted to show you guys that California did have a flood watch in effect for a pretty big area of California. This flood watch heads from Northern California, continues into San Francisco, even the capital of California, which is Sacramento, and then down here into Los Angeles and San Diego. Those will be areas to also watch for flash flooding too as well. So definitely looking a little bit concerning for sure across much of the state of California, but even those areas that do have these winter storm warnings in effect, those will also be areas to watch very closely too as well. So if you want to go skiing, that is great, because we are talking lots of heavy snowfall across the California mountains, or you can even call them the Sierra Nevada mountains, heading into Nevada and then back through parts of Utah, Colorado, and into Arizona. So those will definitely be areas to watch very closely. And then we even do have some dense fog advisories in effect for portions here of Minnesota, heading into northern Iowa, back through parts of South Dakota, into northeast Nebraska, and then even back through parts of Wisconsin. So those will be areas to watch very closely, and make sure you are driving with your headlights on if you do live in a dense fog advisory. Now, if we do take a look at our radar now, I forgot to turn this to forecast loop, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as you guys can see, we actually will start to see a storm system come onto California, which will bring heavy snowfall, heavy rainfall, along with even a bunch of showers and maybe even some thunderstorms. And as you can see, as it continues moving across Arizona and New Mexico and into Texas, this will be a storm system system to watch very closely, and the reason why is because this storm will propose the severe weather threats, and so we'll have to watch for some pop-up supercells, and then this continues bringing heavy rainfall along with some thunderstorms across Louisiana into Mississippi, and then it's pretty much all just rain and heavy rain across portions here of the south heading up there into the Tennessee Valley. Then as that finally heads out, we'll see another storm system move through, which will still bring a similar scenario where we see a bunch of snowfall across the mountains, and then still bringing a bunch of heavy rainfall to parts of those mountains. And as you guys can see, that even will continue across portions here of the deep south again, but even up here towards the Ohio Valley could even experience some of it too as well. But since we are heading quite far out, there is quite uncertainty with this storm for sure. So if we do head more than 300 hours out, make sure to take this with a grain of salt, because we do not expect there to be a huge storm system, even though the GFS model likes to do that at the end of every run. So we'll still watch this storm system closely, and like I said, we don't expect it to be the same. We expect it to be different, so that is definitely something to keep in mind when you are heading extremely far out. Now, if we look at your guys' total precipitation, as you guys can see, we actually do have a pretty big area of at least 1 to 7 inches of rainfall, mainly across California. So the California mountains definitely seem plentiful rainfall across these areas, and some of the snowfall might be considered into rainfall because it actually takes less rainfall to make snowfall, and it takes more rainfall to cause flooding. So I mean, that might sound a little bit interesting, but like I said, it doesn't take much rainfall to make snow. It just has to freeze and expand, and a drop of water could probably make a few flurries. So it definitely doesn't take much water at all to make a bunch of snowfall. But even over down here into Los Angeles, as you guys can see, we actually see a ton of rainfall across the Los Angeles area, which will definitely cause some significant issues as we do head into most likely the middle of February, and even on the next couple of days too as well, because you see this actually heads into February 7th, so not necessarily the middle of February, but we're still gonna be watching the middle of February to see any changes that do happen. But even down here into portions of the deep south, this will be another area that we do need to watch closely too as well. And as you guys can see, we do see anywhere from about 1 to as much as 3 inches of rainfall across portions here of the deep south. Some areas like northern Kansas heading into southern Nebraska may pick up as much as 4 inches of rain in some areas, but I assume the GFS model is the only model that is showing that much rain occurring from Kansas into Nebraska, so we may not see that much, we may see that much, so it's kind of just a 50-50 chance between seeing that much rainfall and not even seeing as much rainfall. So we'll have to watch those areas very closely, and then even a lot of the Rocky Mountains seeing a lot of rainfall. And like I said, it doesn't take much rainfall to make snowfall, and so when you're seeing over 100 inches of snowfall like in the California mountains, you're probably talking at least a few inches of rainfall, which is actually shown here on the total precipitation. So it's definitely, like I said, it definitely doesn't take much rainfall to make snowfall, but if there's a lot occurring, it definitely makes a ton of rainfall, and I'm pretty sure that's why they're showing rainfall, or I mean snowfall considered to rainfall. Now, if we look at your total snowfall, as you guys can see, plentiful snowfall, and like I said, some of these areas could be getting up to 100 inches, and some of that snowfall in the highest elevations have probably been lasting for a long time. So another most likely 50 inches or more snowfall added onto that will likely cause over 100 inches of snowfall there, bringing the rainfall totals there as much as 10 inches most likely, especially especially if you are seeing 100 inches of snowfall. So definitely quite a bit of snowfall across the mountains, even quite a bit of rainfall too as well, due to how much snowfall is falling across the Sierra Nevadas. And then even back here in the let's see, Utah, heading back through parts of Nevada, up there into Idaho, even back through parts of Oregon, or even the Cascade Mountains, into Montana, Wyoming, Utah, I probably already said that, but Utah again, and then into Colorado, and then back through parts of Arizona. We'll likely see some very heavy snowfall as we do head into February 7th, so that will definitely be something to watch extremely closely, and we'll see if some of these areas do pick up several feet of snow, and that will mainly be for the Sierra Nevadas. So that will definitely be a pretty big concern right there. And before I forget, let's go ahead and look at let's see, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and look at the National Weather Service excessive rainfall outlook, because I did forget to take a look at that actually. And as you guys can see, yesterday we actually did have a pretty widespread slight risk for flash flooding, and as we did take a look at those flood alerts during the early part of the video, we actually didn't have much flood alerts. The only concern we had was a flood watch mixed with some flood advisories, and then maybe even a river flood warning or two. But for today, we actually do have a threat for flash flooding across the San Diego and Los Angeles area. So, like I've been saying, Los Angeles and San Diego are going to get tons of rainfall. So this will definitely be something to watch for. We do not expect an upgrade to a moderate risk for flash flooding, but we will still be watching for moderate-like flooding, which indicates numerous flash floods across much of the site risk. So we'll have to really see if we do see numerous flooding. And then on day 2, we actually do have a marginal risk for flash flooding heading there towards Houston, up there into Dallas, and then into portions here of Oklahoma and Kansas. So that will definitely be another day to watch. And day 2 will be from Friday into Saturday. Then for day 3, which is Saturday into Sunday, as you guys can see, we do have a slight risk for flash flooding across New Orleans, heading up there into southwest Arkansas, and then down there towards Houston, Texas, getting some pretty good rainfall again too as well. And then on day 4, we actually do see a slight risk for flash flooding develop across much of the west coast of California, and even Los Angeles included in a flood threat again, which does seem to be concerning, and even the city of San Francisco included in the flood threat again. So the west coast of California, including Los Angeles, and then this area over here in the south and southeast, those will be areas that we do need to watch. And then on day 5, we actually do see flash flooding continuing for the Los Angeles area. And the reason why we are seeing several days of flash flooding across California is because of the Pineapple Express. The Pineapple Express is this massive storm system that looks super huge and even has a cool spin in the middle of it. So definitely an interesting looking storm that is likely coming on the coast and going to be bringing several impacts to the United States. So we'll have to watch this closely, like I said, but flash flooding and severe weather will be the main concern. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. We have been explaining a lot of things in this video, so make sure to subscribe. But like I said, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy my videos.